Nyaka is a community-led and a community-based organization in rural southwestern Uganda that addresses the needs of orphaned and vulnerable children. So please join me in welcoming Jackson.
It's an honor and a privilege to speak to all of you on a topic that is clearly near and dear to me. As a young boy growing up in the villages of Uganda, I was raised by a mother and a father who can't speak a word in English to this day. My mother passed away in 2020. At 94 years old, she worked so hard to make sure that all her 5 children get an education she never got. I remember in 1994 when I started primary school in Uganda, waking up early in the morning and my parents would line all 5 of us in front of our small little house and bring 1 pencil because they could not afford 5 pencils for 5 children. And that 1 pencil would be broken 5 times. So each of us would have a fifth of the pencil to walk to school. That fifth of the pencil ingrained in me determination to get education. It was not until primary 7 when I was introduced to an uncle of mine who had completed a PhD in veterinary medicine, had a Land Rover Sahara. Whenever he pulled up in the village, all the children would gather and run behind his vehicle, in the dust falling up, getting up. When he parked, he had sweets for each one of us, and he would tell us, get an education, one day you'll be in this Sahara. And that uncle ingrained in me determination for education. At 14 years of age, my parents separated and mom left home. And when mom left home, I realized this is not for me. I don't want to go to school anymore. And a teacher of mine told me, Jackson, stay in school. And if you stay in school, one day you will build a house that your father will never chase your mom out of that house. Now women empowerment became another value of Jackson. If I can grow up, get education, and take care of women, other children will never face the obstacles I faced. Ladies and gentlemen, this is when I grew up. At 26 years of age, I got an amazing scholarship to come to this city, New York, to Columbia University, to study international human rights under a program called Human Rights Program at Columbia University. As I was completing this program, my oldest brother died of HIV/AIDS, leaving 3 children who needed care my parents could not give because pencils had run out. So I packed my bags from New York, went back to a village where I was born and raised, and started building schools so children who are orphaned because of HIV/AIDS can get an education. An education combined with empowerment for women who care for these children. So I built a school from scratch with my own $5,000. 1 year into it, I was surfing the website looking for funding, and I landed on Stephen Lewis Foundation. Stephen Lewis, the man, was the Undersecretary at United Nations. My dream was to work at United Nations. When I sent the first email, Ilana, the former ED, replied and said, this is the type of work we are looking for, but we cannot fund it unless we see it. And that's when I said, yes, please come and see it. Ilana thought she would send somebody who will land in Kampala, then take a taxi, matatu, and see the school. Ladies and gentlemen, Nyaka is located 10.5 hours drive from Kampala city. When the lady who came to see it realized it was 10 hours, she called Ilana. Ilana said, you know what, that's too far, maybe see the projects around Kampala and come back. The woman said, I have promised Jackson that I will go see the school, so I must go. Louis Stines drove for 12.5 hours, stayed in a small house I had built for my parents, saw the school, came back and wrote a report and said, if we have to fund one organization, this is it. $25,000, the biggest amount ever at that point, was given to Nyaka, and we started building a community using a holistic approach. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the time when we are talking about Sustainable Development Goals that United Nations put in 2015 after failing to meet Millennium Goals. I spoke in that big room once in 2011. That's the time when we are still talking about education for all. Education for all, where people sat in New York and Boston and Toronto and defined education for children in my organization, children in my village, the same as they define education in Toronto, Canada. The child who is walking not the streets, the path in Nyaka village needs water, needs sanitary products, needs a whole pencil, not a fifth of the pencil, needs the food, and needs a mentor to be able to succeed in school. That's different from a child in New York, in Toronto, and in Michigan, where my own children go. So Nyaka has 12 of the 17 sustainable goals. While the United Nations wait for 2030, Nyaka has already knocked out 12 of the 17. When you look at the money we spend as United Nations on these goals, and look at the budget, we work with Stephen Lewis to get this work done, maybe you send all the money to them. So we have no poverty. We go in the village, take the children who need to go to school and walk miles, pair them with the mother we call grandmothers. And these women can see their smiles, you can see their teeth, you can see their joy. The joy of raising another child who's not even related to you empowers these women to go every single day. But we don't only place children in their homes, we make sure children come to school, get food. That's another goal, zero hunger. For 22 years of Nyaka organization, we have fed children every single day 2 meals a day. Bread is the new introduction. Before it was tomatoes, onions, mangoes, good organic food. We have moved that from education to health. When I was 9 years old, I fell from a tree, ladies and gentlemen, and broke my leg. I still have a huge scar on it. In a tree, in a village where you don't have ambulance, you don't have bicycles, you don't have doctors. One doctor for 250,000 people when I was growing up in the 1970s. When I started doing this work, I said I'm building my own hospital. No child in my village is going to fall from a tree and be taken 3 miles away breeding like a cow from one section to another. So good health and well-being, while it is discussed this week at United Nations, Stephen Lewis Foundation saw us build this. They have seen us take children there. They have seen us provide every girl with sanitary products in there. Now we even have a dental unit. How you get dentures? Kids in Nyaka are getting treatment, and we have dental unit right now with people from Michigan who are treating these children. We have another goal, quality education. The education we provide is not just education of 150 kids in one classroom in Uganda public schools. It is 30 students per teacher. Quality, high education. Our children have graduated to become doctors, lawyers, teachers, engineers, and they are working in the communities to empower it and continue it to grow. During the COVID 2019, our own Dr. Hillary was the one who was giving medicine in our own clinic with all other nurses. As a result, Nyaka immunized more people per capita than any other place in Europe. Before masks were mandated, our students and grandmothers were already giving masks to grandmothers, explaining to them, put this cloth on your face. It's going to help you not to be infected. When you think of gender equality, Mom, who never earned money, who, whenever she harvested food, she would give money to my father. I wanted women to be free. Women to get their own money, use it, and open their bank accounts. This here, ladies and gentlemen, we opened up a microfinance bank for women in the village, so no other woman has to die at 94 without having their own bank account, own their own land, go to court and defend herself, and keep the house she has as her own. Talk of gender equity. And I know you all know what's happening in Uganda. We can address that when we get to the question. Clean water and sanitation. As a child, I walked to go fetch water every day in the morning, come back and walk to school 7.5 miles. When I started building this school, I went to Rotary International. Ilana told me Rotarians have money, they are old men, most of them are white, and they have big pockets, and they can fund. I went and became a Rotarian and took 10 different clubs. With the government of Uganda, we built clean water systems for 50,000 people. Every church, every school, every community in my village has access to clean water, 100% drinkable water. When I speak in New York public schools, I tell them the water in your toilet is 100% drinkable clean water. And 1 billion people around the world don't have water. And if you can give up 1 cup of Starbucks or coffee or tea, you can provide water to somebody in the world. So we have clean water and sanitation. Then you think of decent work and economic growth. Our women, nearly every one of them has a vote. We've heard of Haifa International. We take Haifa International model. I went and asked Haifa if we can work with them. They said, you are too far. We can't reach there. We went and we created what Haifa is and got chicken for the women, give $20 to a woman so they can start their own programs. I'm still going through the 12 goals. There comes another one, industrial and infrastructure. We build homes for women and then we lobby to the government. Since we have a hospital, we have a school, we have clean water system, can you come and do the road? And because we have leverage now, they are able to come and develop infrastructure around the area we are working on. Reduced inequalities. We have 60% of our children as girls because boys always get more opportunities, but we are also partnering with the Canadian Beautiful World Canada, another Canadian foundation that has paid for all our students in higher education to get certificates, including the doctors who are going to school. Climate action. We got 120 acres of land as an organization to try to teach our children what climate change is in the world. We use solar power instead of electricity from hydroelectric power. We have taken all this and took a community to look forward ahead before things start crumbling in our villages. Life and Land, we are the highest collectors of recycled bottles in our village. Our children walk around, now they are beginning to take cow dung and make briskets to make charcoal so people don't have to cut trees. Peace and justice. In 2015, ladies and gentlemen, a child of ours was walking from school going home and she was met by a perpetrator, 35-year-old man who raped her. People were already saying Nyaka is doing too much. We added on another aspect of fighting gender-based violence. We take people to court. We use one motorcycle, one cell phone to pick police, prosecute anybody who will rape anybody in the village. Now we have taken it beyond rape to domestic violence, which is another peace and justice movement. All of this, ladies and gentlemen, is because I, Jackson Kaguri, was born in this village as a local leader, born and raised in proximity to the problem. I took it personal with a pencil and with my mother, but because I know the value of these things, I've been able to convince local people, local politicians, that this is very important to do. All 22 years I've been living in the United States. But the voice on the radio, every 2 weeks when I call from Michigan and call into the radio, the grandmothers are going, that's the boy who was injured at 9 years old. He's fighting for us. What am I saying? Investing in local leadership, people who are proximate to the problem, will move things faster than they will at the big building here called, I hope the staff of the United Nations are not here. Than the things that we discuss in controlled air-conditioned United Nations building. We have taken democratic leadership of grandmothers groups, 248 groups of self-organized women, empowered them with resources, and now 20,000 women. Every single one of them is an entrepreneur. Every single one of them is raising an average of 4 children. That is 88,000 children who are all going to grow up and become responsible world citizens, who all have a story that can be tweetable. It is called X now. Can be X every single day, so this information can get all over the world. Community organizations, when they pair up with funders who believe in their local leaders, work will be done and will be done faster. The importance of funding that is flexible enough to allow you to pay the talent on the ground. Nyaka employs 150 people in Uganda, all Ugandans. Recently, I was speaking to a foundation here in New York. I wanted a program officer to go work in Uganda, and they hired somebody from Ohio. They spoke to the director and said, really? You don't think there's a Ugandan person? 46 million people, 82 colleges who can manage programs in Uganda? Because, oh no, I never thought about it. So think about it now. There is no reason why you should have a program officer based in Kampala going to speak to the grandmothers in the village with an interpreter. Now you have 3 levels of interpretation. When there is a graduate of Nyaka who is looking for a job, train them, bring them to New York. Columbia brought me here. You can see what I have done. So we can invest in other people who are proximate to the problem. We'll do it faster. Multi-year funding has not only been an asset for Nyaka. Working with Stephen Lewis Foundation has also created a network of other organizations that are working in different fields. Training opportunities and exchanging ideas on what we are doing. Flexible funding puts money into administrative costs, which is the biggest pain in the United States when you are talking about funding. I want to hire the best COO in Uganda, and people are telling me your administrative costs are higher. How am I supposed to take care of 88,000 children without a steady master's or PhD programs person who can implement this work? How am I supposed to pay a marketing person, social media influencer in the United States $85,000, but I can't pay $45,000 to the country, to the chief operating officer? The trust-based philanthropy has to be that philanthropy where people sit on the table and discuss. There is no me and you, there is no let's eat, then when we are done eating, we'll give you the leftovers. Let's sit on the same table. Let's eat the same food. Let's drink the same wine. Let's discuss the development goals that we want to implement. And when we make that partnership, ladies and gentlemen, we will see more than 20,000 more women. We'll see more children with pencils in hand. And we will see more women smiling, doing the work that they can do in their own communities. As we speak right now, ladies and gentlemen, a child somewhere in this world will still drop out of school because they don't have a fifth of a pencil. So anytime you think you can't make a difference, anytime you think reports are too many to read, remember, it takes a fifth of a pencil to make a difference. and people and organizations like SRF still believe in that change that we all ought to be implementing. More information, go on Steve Lewis Foundation website, or that's fancy. Our communications person put it in. Or you can do that and you get our website. Thank you. Have a great discussion, and may you continue to make a difference that deserves to be made. May you continue to invest in the leaders that will make it, no matter where they are born or where they are raised.